Alright, hey guys. Got a video here over a really good match actually. I've been watching Element Mystic recently, and I've been nothing but impressed with some of their strategies and how they've really prioritized their use of Sombra in basically every single comp. And so I wanted to go over a strat here and like a little team fight analysis, just going over a fight they had here against Blossom. It was pretty dominant. They just pretty much stomped Blossom. This map specifically, they played a little bit weird on defense, but I wanted to focus mostly on this first initial fight because I think they had an interesting strategy with how to take this. So they have some scouting, I think, here at the very beginning, so we'll go back a little bit. So they're basically running into them. They don't know what they have on the enemy team, but we can see a small little thing was we can see how they were split. So if the enemy team is running poke, a lot of times, sometimes someone will poke here at the front door. It's very minimal, but if they have a Pharah, a lot of times that's what will end up happening. So they end up sending majority of their members out through this top door and walk out through here. And then what this also does is they have their Winston immediately come up from the spawn door, jump immediately up into the air and scout. Because you can see over top of this yellow building right here, there's a spot that you can see above, so you can actually scout main to see if they have an Orisa or not. And so they do that. So he sees that they have an Orisa. So they already know the comp, so they don't have Pharah. They do have an Orisa. And then as soon as they walk through the choke here, they see Zen Orbs, grenades on the ground. They know they have an Orisa now for sure, okay? So this is where their plan probably comes into action. So they call for the plan. They know what's going to happen. And they have a very set play because we can see all of them going through their defaults. Guard has this insanely cool translocator spot. I didn't even think you could do that, but apparently if you slide correctly on the roofs, you can actually get over. So he slides on the roof and he's poking right here. And we can see the tanks on his team are now starting to cross. So this allowed Sparkle to walk. So basically what Guarded just did was he went over top and basically forced the enemy team back because of the pressure that he would have with the hack. So no one's yet crossed. You could see over there was all members were still behind this wall. So they were all playing backwards. And this pressure right here of Guard walking up like this, coming over the roof, it will really surprise them. Because the Orisa comp, you want to play back as far as you can because you're not running Lucio, and if you're playing against an enemy Lucio, you really need to play with the intent that you need to back up sooner because they're going to be on top of you way sooner than you can back up. So they back up soon. Guard applies pressure to force them back, which is really important, and this creates room so that Sparkle can get through and know the entire team is wrapping. So we can see here from Sparkle. Sparkle's grading a little bit, I think, right here, just to get some more information, where I think Guard could have done this. But we can see it is very quick. All the tanks and all the supports made it through the choke, and they immediately wrap around behind. They went through this door over here. But they went around, and they're going to go behind the cafe, and I really, really love this plan. Because the thing that Orisa struggles with the most is having people on top of her and having people run straight at her. But if you have your tanks and your supports playing like behind them and you collapse on top of them, and then you have DPS like Sombra coming from this angle and Doomfist coming from this angle, there's actually nowhere for the Orisa to go. The first idea would be, if you had DPS and things all coming from this angle, she would immediately just back up and go into the cafe and just play in there with the whole team. But whenever you have it come like this, Sparkle took a little bit of damage, and that's the only risk this comp has, is this DPS combo actually getting poked out before the fight can actually start. But Sparkle's going to get HP back from the shields, and they go in here off a hack. So they get a hack, so they're weak, and they're playing poke damage, so they're not going to be good at catching this diver here, especially when all the tanks are over here, and they all just collapse on you from multiple angles. So I love this plan. This plan is great, and this is done purely off scouting and planning beforehand of the match. Because we can see certain executes that went down. So like the Sombra going over the roof, the Sombra creating space so that tanks can get through, Sparkle knowing where he needs to be so he can get information, he can plan this dive. And we can see they're just basically caught out. There's a Doomfist now in here. I think Doomfist without cooldowns is really bad in this room, but if he can get a pick initially, this is actually really good for them. And this comp specifically really punishes poke. So this poke Orisa comp really gets punished by this because there's nowhere for them to go. They get completely wrapped on. and then there's just an entire team sitting on them, where the Orisa usually wants to be taking damage, have her shield damage mitigating a lot of the damage, and have the team rotate shields and actually get resets on the fight. But whenever you engage from behind with multiple people coming from multiple angles, there's nowhere for the shield to get effectiveness, and I thought it was just really impressive seeing like a very fast take of point one just from strong planning and really good execution.